Now I'm going to ask you a question. If I were to ask you where your electronic parking brake is, would you be able to identify it without being in your car right now watching this video? Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do something a little different because I've been driving and testing so many cars, and there's a new system that I've seen on a lot more cars, and it's becoming more and more standard, and it's called an electronic parking brake. Now, when you think about a car, what is the one thing you do not want to fail if you're at high speeds? It's obviously your brakes, right? So one time when I was driving a truck, I was towing a trailer, and as I was getting off the interstate, the brakes failed. So when you push the brakes in on the floor, the truck wouldn't stop. And it was definitely extremely scary. Now, most people that I ask about electronic brakes, I says, if your brakes were to fail, how would you stop the car, or what is the override for the system? And nobody could tell me what it was. Now, I want to show you some of the footage of when I did lose those brakes, because it was on the video I did a while ago. And I thought about it because I did not know what to do when the brakes would not work, because the truck had an electronic parking brake. And one thing that I want to go through this video with is I want to make sure people understand what it is, where to find it at, and how to use it if you do lose brakes in your car. So let's go ahead and see the footage, and then let's go ahead and discuss how the system works.
I like the feel of them. I feel like you really have to press them before the truck really starts to want to stop. I try to get the transmission to do some downshifting, but as you can see, even in tow haul mode, it's just not doing anything. Oh, I lost power steering. I don't know where the video left off at because I haven't edited the footage, but I got off the interstate. I think I mentioned something to the tune of, I think I said, I would like the truck to have more brake feel, because I feel like I have to really push them. And I really had to push them because I didn't have any brakes. And then the power steering went out first, and that was the first thing I noticed. And I don't know when I turned off the camera because I started panicking.
Now, I know you couldn't really hear it in my voice, but I was terrified. I was literally had both feet on the brakes trying to stop that truck. Now, luckily I was going up on an off ramp, so the truck was already losing momentum, especially having my trailer. But I was afraid of rolling back too. But nevertheless, I was able to get the truck onto the median. I went to a Burger King, left the truck and trailer there for a second, called around, and no one knew what to do. So all I knew to do was unhook the trailer and limp the truck back to the dealership. So that's what I did. I drove about 20 miles an hour, and every once in a while I would try to hit the brakes to see if they would work again. Nothing. So in this video today, I'm going to show you some of the types of electronic parking brakes you will have. So this is one. This is a push button one, and this is one that has like a lever basically, so you can pull it to turn it on. You can actually hear it come on too, and then you push it to turn off. Now typically you have to have your foot on the brake for you to take the brakes off. So that's another one that you would have. Now I'm going to ask you a question. If I were to ask you where your electronic parking brake is, would you be able to identify it without being in your car right now watching this video? I'm pretty sure a lot of people would say no. So what I would tell you is, number one, first and foremost, as I just showed you, find where this button or that lever is in your car. That's number one. And what I would tell you to start doing is, sometimes your car or your SUV or truck, whatever you have, will set the parking brake for you automatically. If it's possible, disable that in your system. Sometimes you have to go through your infotainment system to do so. And start learning to put your emergency parking brake on. This electronic parking brake, I should call it. We'll call it electronic parking brake because that's what this is. Start turning on your electronic parking brake every time you stop your car. Because what I would recommend is you get familiar to where it's at. Because what will happen is cars are not going to have as many failures with the brakes, because it's very rare that it happens, but they do happen. And in the past, all you had to do was find your emergency brake that you pulled up, or you just had to push it down on the floor. Well, in this case, you don't have those things anymore. So the natural instinct is you're going to look for one of those two things, but you're not going to be able to find it. So you need to know, okay, where is my parking brake? Or should I say, where is my electronic parking brake? So I would strongly get familiar with your car and know where it's at. The very next thing I would recommend that you do is find a parking lot where there's nobody around. And if you can get up to about 25 to 30 miles an hour, push the button or pull the lever, however yours is configured in your car, and get used to the feeling of what it takes to slow your car down. Because what I'll tell you is, this is probably one part of the video where when I drove that truck back to the dealership, I was going 20 miles an hour on the median. And then I eventually figured out that I could actually stop the car using the electronic parking brake. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you right now. So I don't know if I can hold the camera and do it at the same time. So we'll see. Worst case, I might have to grab somebody to help me with this, but we're going to put it in drive. Of course, you have to put your seatbelt on. I'm in a big parking lot right now. So as you're driving along, you'll figure we'll get up to about maybe 20.
This vehicle is in demonstration.
Because this is not a big parking lot. Alrighty, so here we go. So we'll get up to about 20. So I'm going to push the button right now. So as you can see, it will stop the car. And if you keep going, it will turn off itself. So even if you're driving, you can push the button just to slow it down. So again, I recommend that you do this a few times. You know, if you have a loved one that you need to teach this to, I strongly recommend they watch this video too. But get familiar with the electronic parking brake. I'm a pretty experienced driver, and normally my instincts kick in really quickly. And that day, because I was looking for the brake on the ground, because that's what I normally have in my truck, and that's what trucks have always had. That's what I was trying to do, but I didn't even look for this because I was panicking. So this would be a good way for you to get familiar with that brake and make sure that, if you do have a failure, you don't have to worry about crashing into something to stop your car. Now I'm going to show you this one in this truck here, just so you guys can see how it works, okay? Because it's a little bit different from this truck we're in right now. All right, so here we go. We're in the Ram now. So I'm gonna pull this up so you can see it'll start to slow you down. So one more time, holding it. There you go. So like I said, be sure to share this video and subscribe to my channel too, by the way, if you haven't done so already. But I think that this is going to be pretty helpful. I asked a lot of people about the electronic parking brake when I found out how to use it actually, and a lot of people did not know what I'm showing you guys. So be sure to share this, make sure that people understand how the system works, because I think this could definitely save some lives and prevent damage to your property. Thank you for watching.